My name is Evan Brenner, and I am the writer and performer of The Buddha in His Own Words, which is a one-man play depicting the life of the Buddha assembled entirely from the original texts. The life of the Buddha is one of the great archetypal adventure stories. He was born into great privilege, but became disillusioned with life as he had come to know it, and so he set out on a quest to find the end to suffering. He visited the great spiritual leaders of his time, but was dissatisfied with the answers that they provided him. And so he started a regime of extreme ascetic practices, life-threatening ascetic practices actually, until, very much on his own, he discovered what he claimed to be the end to suffering and his final goal. I was delicate, most delicate, supremely delicate. Lily pools were constructed for me on my father's estate solely for my benefit. Blue lilies flowered in one, white lilies in another, red lilies in a third. My turban, tunic, and lower garments were all made exclusively of the finest Benares cloth. A white sunshade was held over me night and day, and I too was protected from cold and heat and dust and grit and dew. I too had 3 palaces, one for the rainy season, one for the cold season, and one for the hot season, and I was provided with entertainers to indulge all my senses. Though just meals of broken rice with lentil soup were given to the servants in other houses, in my father's house, white rice and meat was given even to the servants. But while young, I noticed that most people do not acknowledge that they will grow old and they're disgusted by old age and the aged. But I saw the inevitability of aging in myself and all others, and in so doing, any pride I had in youth entirely left me. Then I thought, why do I, who will grow old, get sick, and die, seek after what will also grow old, get sick, and die? Suppose being myself vulnerable to aging, sickness, and death, and seeing inevitable despair in valuing what also has those characteristics, suppose I sought after the unaging, the unailing, the unborn, the deathless, sorrowless, supreme liberation, nirvana. And so I assessed my situation. Life as a householder is filled with distractions and restrictions. Life gone forth is wide open. Suppose I shaved off my hair and beard, put on the yellow robe, and went forth from the household life into the holy life. And in the last watch of the night, I came to understand 4 truths. And just as if a man wandering in a forest found an ancient path, an ancient trail, traveled by men of old, and he followed it up, and by so doing he discovered an ancient city, an ancient royal capital where men of old had lived, with parks and groves and lakes and walled round and beautiful to see. So too I found that ancient path, that ancient trail, but traveled by the fully enlightened ones of old. I followed it up, and by so doing, I rediscovered the 4 noble truths. I came to this material at a very dark period in my own life. I was really lost and disillusioned, and I turned back to the sutras. But what I found in them was this great story, and it occurred to me, what if I assembled these disparate sutra sections and recreated the Buddha on stage as a one-man show? And so that's what you have, is the life of the Buddha assembled from the original texts and performed as a one-man play.